Hi there, welcome back to Northeast Kansas Gardening. Whew, what has been going on in the garden? Just me being impatient. That's just the main, that's what we do here. I start things too early, I put things out too early, and then I sometimes get a little discouraged, but we're gonna try not to do that this year. It is finally showing in the 10-day forecast that we have no 40s in the lows, so I'm going to plant out my peppers today and my eggplants. And part of the thing that you're supposed to do when you start plants indoors is called hardening off. I'm impatient. I don't like moving the plants out and moving them back in. I have a shade cloth here that I'm going to throw over the bed that I plant in today, and I'll leave it on for like a week, and then I'll take it off, and hopefully that'll be the hardening off process. A lot of my plants don't do well after I start them because of the hardening off process, and maybe if I had a better system or a better way to do it, it'd be easier, but the way my house sits and the way that the sun rises and sets around my house, it's just cumbersome to try to get everything out of the greenhouse, and I don't have an outdoor greenhouse. It's in my garage. So let's get to it. Okay, peppers planted, eggplants planted. The other plants that are still in pots need to harden off. So I'm going to use the drop cloth that I'm about to put on to harden everything off, and then I'll plant it next week. But look at this! I have an asparagus growing. That's so exciting! It's going to be a couple years before we get to eat them, but they're growing right on this end. Okay, now here's me looking like a hot mess, but disregard. So I know it's not perfect, but it's better than having to take the plants in and out every single day, in my opinion. And now that I've done it for one bed, I might get like 2 more to cover the tomato beds and the cucumber bed, and just as soon as it gets warm enough, just throw them out there with a shade cloth, because I ain't got time for moving things in and out every day. Speaking of no time, I want to talk about my irrigation system this year. Let me flip the camera around and let's start talking about it. So I live in the city, and I already mentioned earlier that I'm a lazy person. I don't want to have to come out here every single day and remember to water. Maybe when I'm retired or don't have kids at home, that will be different. So I came up with a solution. That's the water faucet, split 4 ways, and 3 of them are split 2 ways and have Wi-Fi timers on them, and they go off when I tell them to at night. I could switch it to in the morning because the morning's probably better to water, but regardless of when it goes off, let's go ahead and get into how I managed to pull this off. Okay, so this is not sponsored, but I found these Wi-Fi timers on Amazon, and it's from Rain Point. So I have that connected to one of the spouts over there. That timer goes off and waters this bed here and that bed there. And I have multiple different types of watering sources connected after that, and I'll tell you which one I like the best. But to use this, you have to have a Wi-Fi hub, which is plugged in inside my house. Like, there's an outlet right between that window and that door on the inside. So it has to connect to your internet and be close enough to these to set them off when it's time for them to go off. Like I said, I have one here that's watering my cold crops that are almost out of sun for the day. What time is it? It is 1 p.m. They don't get enough sun. I did plant some hostas that'll love it here, but we'll see if any of those brassicas do anything. Anywho, that timer does that bed, and this is my potato and onions. Other than brassicas, there's some spinach right there, there's some lettuce in there, there's some cilantro, and canna lilies that didn't get ripped out when I paid somebody to clean it up, which is totally fine. They're beautiful, except they attract Japanese beetles. But I'm hoping that my chicken coop is right there. Hopefully you can, hopefully the chickens will help with the Japanese beetle issue. Okay, now I lost my train of thought. The fourth nozzle on my little Frankenstein contraption over there is just for me to walk around and water things. I have, you know, plants over on that cascade area and on the other side of it down there that need water that are not getting, they can't be reached by any of the things that I have set up. So the types of watering that I have. I bought these flat expandable soaker hoses off Amazon. Cucumbers. The other day, a friend of ours cleaned her fish tanks and nicely provided me her fish tank water, and I poured a bunch right there, and that's why the cucumbers are all covered up. But anyway, so this one's okay. It's not my favorite. This is just flowers. I'm trying to get a butterfly garden growing, so I've purchased a lot of flowers. I just cascaded and broadcasted some seeds in there. The flowers that I started too early that are down there, I put them out too early and they got sun scald, so I don't know if they'll come back. I put new seeds in each one of those little spots, so we'll see. This is actually my favorite soaker hose. It's not flat, it's like a porous material. I left this outside all year, so that's probably not a good thing, but so far so good. That's probably 50 feet, I would say, because the 25 feet that's in there might not be enough. That one's 25 feet, but the bed's smaller. So moving on to over here, this irrigation system is like almost like a PVC pipe, and it has little holes in it, and I don't love that. I put the plants in here before I put the watering system in here. So if you can imagine, I had a hard time lining up the plants with the watering system. So if you have the watering system already there and then you put plants in, it might not be such a big deal for you. But for me, it's like I'm married to the spot that I have a hole to put a plant to, and I don't like that. Another type of irrigation that I tried are these little like tubing, and it goes into the ground like that, and when you turn on the water it sprinkles out. It's kind of the same as the last one I just showed you, where you have to put your plants where this is, or you know, keep it in the bed and redo it the same, like put your plants in the same place every year. And I don't love that. I don't love that idea. Plus that's a lot of cutting and measuring and getting things exactly in the right spot, and it's just a lot to fool with, and we already established I'm lazy, so I don't like that one. So yeah, that is my irrigation system. I used to have a backyard area that had pumpkins and melons and things. I've never successfully grown melons, but pumpkins I have successfully grown, and that's where my chickens are now. So maybe that's a good segue to go see the chickens. I already filmed last week what I was doing to get ready for the chickens to go outside, and I have an update, so it's kind of like a split up, like did some last week, did some this week. But anyway, let's go to the chickens. Let's take a tour of my chicken coop. So first off, I tried to repurpose as many items as I absolutely could so that I didn't have to buy a whole lot of stuff. There are a few things I had to buy. I had to buy some zip ties. I bought this green mesh stuff to elevate the fence and, you know, hopefully deter predators or whatever. I had to buy this little lock guy down here to make sure that nothing can push through the bottom to get into the run. But yeah, this is what it looks like on the outside. The run, and then the coop's in there. So let's go in and check it out. I purposely made the door push in to get into the coop because I wanted to make sure that the chickens would be afraid of the door coming in and wouldn't want to like be near it when it was opening. So if it opened the opposite direction, it could be an invitation for anything to run in or anything to run out. So the fact that I have it coming in was intentional. It's starting to sprinkle, so I don't know how long I'll get to be out here, but I repurposed some cattle paddle trellises that I was using to try to grow pumpkins and melons and vining things back here. I was never really successful at that because of squash bugs. This is weed fabric that I bought, and to like do the edging inside here because it was a garden, but it was left over and they needed more shade because this area from like 10 in the morning until, I don't know, 6 gets a lot of sun. So that's what the purpose of this is. It's shade, and then when I put this up, it helps reinforce this from falling apart. I added this shade sail because it's too small for the use that I purchased it for, and I bought a bigger one, so I just had this one laying around. That tarp I've had laying around for a really long time, so I put holes in it and tried to, well, there's not a zip tie right there. I should put one there. Tried to, tie it down as best I could so that it won't fly away. This is a rain barrel to catch rainwater, and initially I was gonna water my chickens with this, but all the fittings didn't work out and it was leaking a lot, so I had an extra barrel, and we'll get to that in a minute. So I did throw a little bit of grass seed in here because before the end of last season I tilled this up so that I was going to plant again. I didn't think about getting chickens until, winter-ish, and I'm excited to get them out here. They're about 5 weeks old. They'll be 6 weeks next week. So yeah, the coop, I purchased it from Wayfair. What else do you say about it? I don't know. It's a coop. It can house up to 6 chickens, and that's how many I have. I spread the hay around to try to give a little bit more insulation in case it's a little too cold on the nights or whatever. And all of the exits or entrances have locks that cannot be undone by like a raccoon. It has to be a human that knows how it works. So I'm really excited about the coop. So let's go talk about the food. So this is the food barrel. This is a 55-gallon drum, and it was food grade when I purchased it, and it just had saline water in it, and it's like, the guy that I bought it from said it was some kind of facility that does who knows. Anywho, I figured since it was food grade, it would be fine. So I bought a kit off Amazon, and I drilled these holes. I've got one higher than the rest, but most of them are the level that you see these 3. So what I realized, this is 100 pounds of chicken food, and it didn't even make it halfway for this barrel. So I think my new plan is to get some play sand, like what you would put in like a sand pit for kids. I'm gonna have to scoop all that out or dump it all out, and then put the play sand, maybe a couple bags at the bottom, because chickens, they eat rocks every now and again, or they peck at sand, so it shouldn't hurt them anything. So I'm gonna have to empty this out at some point, or let the chickens empty it some first, and then I'm gonna put play sand in the bottom and then put more food on top, which will elevate the food to the whole area and not have all this wasted space at the bottom. So that was an afterthought, but you live and learn. And I really like that this particular drum has a lid with latches. So right now the food has little plugs in it to keep the rats out because the chickens aren't out here yet. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that all fixed up. And here's the watering barrel. I know it looks funny. However, it's the same kind of barrel that the food is in. And I did fill this up with my hose, but the sun comes down this direction in the mornings, and I didn't want the water to grow algae, or at least limit it as much as I could. And I purposely put it in this corner because during the afternoon, the sun comes from this direction, so the coop and this tarp will be shading it in the heat of the afternoon. So it's really just morning sun that gets here. And this kit came with its own little drill bit, so when the water gets low enough, this lifts up and more water comes in. I would not recommend drilling on this part if you have a barrel like this. I did that on that one, and it took me forever to get it to stop leaking. And let's cross our fingers that it did stop leaking for good. But anyway, I'm really excited about this because it means that I don't have to, Why is that one not doing what it's supposed to do? It means that I don't have to come out here every day and give them clean water. I don't have to come out here every day to feed them. It's just, I'm trying to automate things as much as possible. I put this chain over here because I intend to hang food from it at some point, but I don't have anything small enough to connect in through the links of the chain. So I'll have to go to the hardware store and get something for that. So yeah, this is the chicken run and the chicken coop. This is Virginia creeper over here, so you know, don't panic or freak out that there's ivy growing in here. They'll be fine. So the only other thing that I'm really waiting on for this is I ordered an automatic door so that I can tell it what time to open and tell it what time to close, and I don't have to come out here every day if I don't need to. When the chickens wake up or when they need to go to bed, I don't have to come out here and shut it. So yeah, automating as much as possible. What else? I don't know. I have a taller door than the rest of it to make sure that it's nice and secure. Yeah, I guess let me know if you have any questions about it. Okay, in the backyard. So since the last time I videoed back here, there were some hawks flying above that were seeming to be eyeballing my chickens. And I had previously purchased this really thin nylon mesh stuff, and I decided I wasn't gonna use it, but when you got hawks threatening your babies, you make different decisions. And let me tell you, this stuff was not easy at all to get up there. It gets stuck on every little blade of grass. It gets stuck on everything, and this is the gate to get in. So I'm gonna have to put the camera down and get myself in and close it and then come back because it's the most difficult stuff to work with. But everything else that's like more efficient and better and easier to work with is more expensive. So this is what we have for now. Should be good until I can buy better stuff. So let's go in. Hi chickens. I didn't bring anything. You see my hand is empty, don't you? Yeah, you're so smart. You're so smart. Oh, don't run from me. I am still your mother. Anywho, okay. As you can see, I went and got the things I needed from the hardware store. I tried to hang a cucumber. Hi. But it didn't stay. The corn has stayed. I don't know if anybody's pecked at it at all. They're such big birds now. It's so cute. But it's there for enrichment, so there's a bug on my arm. So changes since the last video. I did get the chicken run door. It's actually called a run chicken. It's really pricey, but worth it. Oh. Okay, ladies. Make it an exciting vlog. Woo! Anyway, dinosaurs running around. Whoa. Okay, back to the door. It's worth it because it closes. I have mine set to close at certain times. You could have them set to close on daylight and dusk, but I was worried with all of this shade up here that it, you know, might not actually close like I needed it to. So I just put it on times instead of, they're so freaking adorable. Instead of the daylight dusk situation. So far so good. Everybody knows where to find their food and everybody knows where to find their water. So glad I automated those items because I don't have to come out here if I don't want to. But maybe we should try to find some chicken treats and see if they'll, look, they're tearing apart that Virginia creeper. That's so funny. Thanks, chickens. Okay, let's see if I can find some mealworms. Here, chicks. Here, chicks. You can eat the oatmeal. Look, I got worms. Come on. Chicks. Chicks. One's trying to get away. Ow. So the first time I tried to give them live mealworms, they were scared of them because they moved. Here. Bless you. You're just my fatty little chickie, aren't you? Yeah, you're my fatty little chickie. It's okay. You'll give me good eggs, won't you? Ow. You're okay. Come on. I did not handle them enough when they were little. As you can tell, they don't really want anything to do with me. Hi, chicken. Aw, yeah, that's a good chicken. Yeah, okay. Go back with your sisters. You wiped me out. I'm all clean. Sneak attack. I got you. You're so pretty. Don't peck at her leg. Oh, big birdie. Hold on. So they've been outside since Sunday, and today's Tuesday. The first 2 nights I had to come and put them in their coop, and last night they were in it by themselves at dusk. So fingers crossed that that continues. Why you guys run from me? It's okay. I should have handled you more when you were babies. Yeah, there's nothing in my hand, and you know there's nothing in my hand. They're like, nope, you ain't got nothing. Hi. 3 of them have names, but I don't remember which is which. I think this one is Rose, this black one, and that black one is Lena. And then one of these white ones is Becky. I'm not sure which one though. They look different since they were little. Hey, there's nothing left in there. I took them all out and fed them to you. I grew up in the city. I didn't have exposure to live chickens. So for me, and I am a bird lover, like we always had exotic birds when I was growing up, like parrots and cockatiels and cockatoos and different things like that. But to have the birds and they're like an outside pet is like, why didn't I think of that? I should have had outside pets a long time ago. Well, because I didn't own a house since I've been gardening. Neither here nor there. There's one more thing that I wanted to talk to you about before I end this log, and it has to do with that hardening off situation that I was talking about. So the first time I was trying to harden off my peppers, I just would wheel them out. I have this little flatbed cart thing. I'd wheel them out, let them sit in the sun for a few hours, wheel them back in. Well, in doing that, one of my pepper plants was blooming. And I didn't know that that's the part of the plant that aphids are attracted to, is when it starts blooming. And I allowed an infestation to go back inside into my perfect greenhouse with perfect temperatures, perfect conditions for breeding. And let's just turn it around and show you how that played out for me. Maybe not this one on the right so much, but totally killed this pepper plant. It was beautiful, lush, blooms. I did take a couple of the blooms off because I wanted it to focus on root growth. But it was too late. They had already gotten to that plant. And that one. And most of that one. All right. I think that's about all that I wanted to talk about today. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. I'm gonna keep adding flowers to my butterfly garden. I have my eye on a couple that I saw at Walmart, but I didn't pick them up yet because I didn't want to spend the money. We got the end of the school year coming up, might be a vacation in the works, so trying to be careful with my pennies for a little while. But yeah, hey, if you got this far, congratulations, you got through the Hot Mess Express. Thanks for being here. Subscribe, like, come back. Next video should be even better. There should be things growing now that it's warm enough. Things should be blooming. It should be gorgeous. So join me next time. You'll see me next time.